Need to bring the cat in.
Thank you. The cat thanks you.
The cat does that. It took one look at us, and as soon as it saw us walk past the porch, it dove. It hit the door well before we were.
That's Smokey. He's been coming in with students frequently. Frequently. Well, there's Mr. Bynum.
He doesn't spend the night out, does he?
No, absolutely not.
Ours too. Although I sometimes have to go out late at night to try to get.
We used to.
Yeah, I know how we have. Yes, now that we're going to go. Do not go out. Period. Well, we got them too old. I'm just afraid they don't.
Morning, Bill.
Morning.
Morning.
We're running a little slow this morning.
Yeah, we're all a little slow.
I think we all are.
Possibly not slow, just trying to jam too much stuff into it.
That both of us were like. Then I figured out both. Like too many clocks at different times. I didn't know that until I get in the car and went, what? Oops. Okay.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Morning.
Good way to start.
Good way to start. Good way to start. Guys, don't get hugs. They're too far away.
I'm almost surprised.
Oh, wait, but they both work. They're both giving hugs.
Oh, good. I'm almost surprised to see you today.
It's been a hard week.
I'm sure
It's not going to get any easier for a while.
No.
Nope.
Well,
And here we all are.
thank goodness.
Good. Yep.
And it's a little warmer today.
It is a little warmer. I can feel
I
that.
wore really super heavy shirts.
I decided for the occasion not to wear a turtleneck for the first time in like a month and a half.
Well, I don't quite give that
Yeah,
up.
not that far. I may have a scarf on by this afternoon.
Oh yeah.
We'll see.
Okay. So how are things with your Tai Chi practice? We will not go to other things. Any questions, reports, issues, problems, breakthroughs?
That takes care of that.
Yeah, I mean, I still am trying to. I think it's both grasp and practice. Dissolving. On the other hand, I kind of feel like I understand emptiness. Even though if I move backwards, I'm like, whoops, yeah. There's still these blocks. And then physically, my hips feel a little better, but I developed this terrible habit this week of kind of raising my shoulders. I think that was a defense mechanism for other parts of my body hurting or whatever, or just for life or whatever, you know. It's like, where are my shoulders? I mean, just in not just in practice, but like
Yeah.
all the time, kind of.
But it's good that you can be aware of that.
Yes.
Then you can at least let go occasionally.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So,
I feel like I should just hang a golden string from a few ceilings in my house to remind me. Like, what helps you? Go, hey, your shoulders are too high. You know, get that
Yep.
head up there and relax.
yep, absolutely. Good.
I didn't really realize it driving out, and I got out of the car and just, breathing fresh air.
Yeah.
And
And driving can be stressful.
well, especially when feel like you're running late. I don't know that we're running later than we usually are, but it felt like it.
Yeah, I don't think we were. When we got here about 1 minute past 9, we've gotten here as late as 5 past 9. But yeah, I think both of us were kind of like we had, tried to get a few too many things done this morning before getting in the car.
Don't we all?
But there is something about changing things. I think that's where practice comes in, right? That just getting out of what we always do, or get outside, or be here, right? Whatever that it is the yin and the yang, I guess, to some
Yeah,
degree, right?
absolutely. Anything for either of the bills?
No major things, but I have been trying to. Okay, so we've been working on this cavity and that cavity. And,
Hold on, we're having a hard time hearing you, Bill. It's very soft.
You used to be very loud, and
Maybe
a month or so ago, you got really soft. So
well,
Is that better? No?
Is that better?
I'm not sure.
yeah.
I mean, it's on as high as David can get it here, so.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's funny. I'm hearing you fine, Bill.
David's
yeah.
confused.
And I'm talking normally, and I'm a foot away from the speaker. So.
Okay, well, we can all hear. We'll huddle around the computer.
Just being aware of all of the cavities in spaces that need to be opened, and trying now to keep my attention on at least several of them at the same time. And I've been trying to keep my mind on ones that are widely separated, like behind my knees and my, whatever, solar plexus. So, things like that, but nothing major as far as breakthroughs or discoveries or questions for that matter.
That's pretty major, just as it is.
Well,
Anything for you, Mr. Bynum?
When I'm practice, I've been working more on um, sort of two things: just smoothness and round circularity, and not having corners and not having pauses,
Mm-hmm.
and also trying to keep not having sort of dead parts. Or like I would tend to have, maybe not feel energetic in my legs, or even in my hand. There's just places that I've noticed that aren't energetic as you go
Mm-hmm.
through, and then if I focus on that and think about our basic, the twisting, spiraling, uh, continuous circularity, and everything that can fix those things. So it's yeah. So those two pieces, trying to make it whole body energetically and round and soft without step,
Yeah.
robot kind of movements. So.
Um, it's interesting. One of the things I was going to suggest to you today is to try to in a way set up a schedule and be very methodic about approaching each part of this practice. What I'm saying is that we have a lot of pieces now, and if we're trying to be aware of what's happening with all of those pieces, we tend to think too much, which gets in the way of the energy. And so going through each of the 16 Negongs that we've begun to work on and focusing on just one at a time, maybe one a week, and trying to be aware of breathing. I mean, there are a lot of aspects of the breathing that we have talked about. Excuse me. So, if you discover that some parts of your breathing are smooth and you're not having to think about it, but all of a sudden another one pops in, and sometimes it's in a specific posture, not all the way through. It just points to the fact that you have to focus a little bit of practice on specifically getting that piece to be so ingrained in your awareness that you don't have to think about it at all. And you've got a lot of the pieces that way already. I mean, I'm not suggesting you don't. I think you all do. But we tend to, or maybe I'm talking about my own issue, jump around with different things, focus on different things without getting each one of them fully incorporated. And so you guys are kind of at a point where you're clearly not beginners in all of this. And you can begin to try to be aware of making sure that every part is functioning without your having to think, now I should do this, or now I should do that. Because until you can do that with all of the pieces that we've incorporated, it's really hard to progress to the deeper levels. And it's very hard, we had a mention here of dissolving, which is difficult to do when you're actually doing gods, unless you have everything so that you don't have to think about it. And you shouldn't have to think about the dissolving. Eventually it becomes, I started to say, an ingrained response. A blockage appears and you dissolve it. You don't have to stop and think, oh, I've got a blockage there, I better dissolve it. You just do it. So you can only do all of this if you practice. Back to my favorite word. But you're all at a level where I think it's important that you are not randomly focusing on different things, but really methodically focusing on wherever you need to really develop how you're doing any part of this that we've incorporated so far. That raise questions? It's hard to do.
No, it's hard to do, but I think if we remember how many things we've already incorporated and don't think about, then
Well-
it helps to kind of, I think I may not be aware of all the cavities, for example, but I'm not hugging my, but I'm keeping my armpits open.
Yeah, right, right, and but that was why I also what I was saying was that I keep coming back to it, but you really need to try to be methodical for a while, not forever, obviously,
right.
but in examining your practice, because I can't tell every aspect of what you're doing and point it out to you. You have to know that it's right, and not think that it's right. So I just was planning to throw this in,
Words of wisdom.
throw this into you today
Anyway.
at some point.
Do we have a list of the 16 Negron?
Oh yeah.
I know, I thought about that myself. I couldn't,
Just-
yeah.
Well, I can send you.
That was early on, right, in our,
Beg your pardon?
it's early on in the notes, I think.
Yeah, but I can send it to you again.
Early on in the notes from this,
Yeah,
I have kept
like
everything.
3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do print them out and
But
keep in the folder.
it does. If you go to energyarts.com, there will be, I'm sure, I haven't looked
Yeah.
at that specifically recently, but I know there's not only a list, but discussion of it. So, on that note, my feeling is do a flow and try to simply be aware of what do you have to think about. Because that helps you to begin to be aware of where you need to focus some practice so that you don't have to think about it. And I think an important part of that is really taking the time before you start to move. We're all so pressed with what we have to do that you obviously can't do it every time you practice, probably. But there is great benefit in really standing until you really reach Wu Chi, where you reach as still as you can possibly be without thinking. Then nothing is saying do this or do that. So that the impulse to begin comes from within you and not because your mind says, oh, I've got to do the laundry, I better get going. Or whatever. Obviously, it may not be the laundry for everybody. So, do a flow.
All right, I may have to sit down at some part of it, but
You
I'll
can
do the best I can.
You can do
I
the
mean,
whole
I've been
thing.
doing a
Stephen.
little, well, a little more challenging, but it's possible, I have realized.
Yeah, absolutely.
But let me start and prepare a chair so I can just plop.
So how were those flows, and what did you discover about thinking
Or not thinking.
or not?
I was trying to not think and be observant. Right? Kind of
difficult.
Okay. No to-do list were allowed.
Right.
But especially since I've not been able to, just for first full, I only did 10 because I thought my body couldn't handle 20 each. But yeah, I did well. I slathered with mountain ice this morning. That might help. And ibuprofen. But there were things that the observance of trying to just being aware of continuing the flow and not stopping. I think because I had not done this in a while, my elbows have been a bit off, and I've just felt this kind of freeing of my elbows. I don't know how to explain it, but just kind of, they moved better than they have been. Every so often doing a little check of breathing, cavities, knowing that because I was limited, I couldn't do everything I wanted to in terms of movement, but still, yeah, this is a checklist. Now I've created a to-do list from my observations, right? But it's a good to-do list. It's not, the laundry's not on it.
Did you find places where you began thinking where you thought you didn't previously?
Not sure what you mean. Begin.
Were there places where you were surprised by the fact that you began to think about the movement?
Three, I was very focused on the flow of my hands and my elbows in 3. It's kind of,
yeah,
because we always want to make sure, because it's a challenge. It can be challenging. 1, in 4, I just really felt the energy. So there was somewhere kind of the energy just kind of was what I just kind of feel that.
yeah.
Maybe 4 and 6 were the 2 strongest today, in that way.
Good.
Which is interesting, because 6 is not usually on that radar screen.
It's nice to know it can be.
Yeah, right. Like, oh, yeah.
Bill?
No, 3 things, I think. One, I felt, I was happy about this, felt my lower half much more easily this morning in 3 and 4. I normally feel it in 2, 5, 6 fairly easily, but this morning it, distinctly showed up in 3 and 4. So there was a kind of pumping motion in 3 and 4 that, was kind of a nice surprise. I also felt in 6 that the energy was really loading into the lower dantian as I came down. That was a distinct feeling. And then on the negative side of the ledger, 7 is still a work in progress. Not much. I mean, I'm aware of my lower body, but it's not a smooth part of it yet. It's, not fleshed
Definitely some
in
good
somehow.
things there.
I'm sorry?
Definitely some good things there.
I thought so.
Yes, for me, I felt overall, I felt it was a really good flow. I also felt there was even even just with the screen and the internet, there was good energy in the class. Uh,
Mm.
and
Yeah, there was.
the things that I there's a couple of maybe sort of mechanical things. In three, I'm never quite sure what to do with my head when I'm stretching out because I don't, in the stretch, whether it should
Mm.
be looking up or just my gaze looking out or, that
Mm.
part of it. And similarly with my neck, one thing that's always been a little conflict for me in seven is where the teaching is don't lose the crane's neck as you're going around. And I find when I think about the crane's neck, it tends to stiffen rather than loosen, you know, and
Mm.
in that rotation in the upper part of my spine, particularly. And maybe you could comment some on that. But three for me, today the lower body and legs and the rotations were really good. And then seven, I think the lower, because we aren't rotating our hips and we're just rotating the spine, um, having the legs, the lower part of the body involved is a little bit inhibited because there's not that physical rotation going on there, uh, at least not from rotating the hips and the uh, hip joints.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, that certainly that is an adjustment to focusing on the movement of the energy, particularly as it twists and eventually spirals through the lower body, without having to move it physically. So it's not that the energy stops in the lower body; it continues. It's just that it is being driven by the rotation of the spine and not by any physical movement of the lower body.
Mhm.
So in three,
the one thing there isn't there is there's a little weight shift
mm-hmm,
going on, which is where I do get energy in the lower body for seven with the weight shift.
Mm.
Um, so,
Is there a weight shift?
there doesn't
but
need
I
to
guess
be.
I guess I haven't separated at all movement of the energy and physical movement. And I think that's a step that's
Yeah,
hopefully down the road a little bit. So it's
yeah.
going to happen.
The Carol was asking, is there a weight shift in seven? um, Not significantly, um, because your upper body is circling. There will inevitably be a slight shift. Um, but it shouldn't be. You're not making that be a big shift there. No, no, absolutely.
But on the other hand, you're not trying to not shift at all.
No.
Right.
If,
Oh yeah, that's counterproductive.
yeah.
I was actually wondering today if I was making too big of a circle because I felt the weight shift more than usual.
Yeah. Then probably the answer is yes.
Yeah. It's a long question.
Bill, you're in three. There is an extension of your head because you're straightening your C curve,
Mm.
which goes all the way through, but your head should not in either three and what was the other one you asked about now? Five? Uh,
Seven.
I forget now.
Talked about 3 and 7, but
Three
yeah.
and seven, okay. Um, yeah, the C curve is straightening, but it is not looking up. It's, and that's kind of hard in three, in seven, because of the movement. I'm trying to think how to describe to you. I mean, because your neck continues to circle, so it's not frozen with the spine. The neck actually circles slightly more than the spine does. And so when you are going up, it is going to extend up, but it does not bend back as such. So it's there's a fine line there, where you are extending it up, absolutely, but you're not. As soon as you begin to go back, looking up any significant amount, it cuts off the flow of the energy at the Jade's Gate. So, or at least reduces it. So you don't want to do that. And in three, remember that we're simply extending out with that energy. It's not an up movement, which makes it a little different than other things, other movements. I mean, this practice is not all exactly like everything else we've done at all. So, I don't know if that helps. At all?
Yeah, I think it's helpful. It's a thing that I don't think I've noticed until recently, but I do tend, especially in three, to look out, and which puts my neck up just a little bit, which it shouldn't be.
Yeah. Also, it has to have bent slightly in the C curve. If it does
Right.
not do that, then it's difficult to have an extension.
Yeah. That part, having the seeker and having it, developing both that 12 as well as 6. I feel like I'm doing that pretty well. I think it's because the sort of the yang part is so a brief part of the whole circular part of 3.
Hmm.
Um, I tend to overdo it, maybe. So,
And also to remember that in that, as you put it, the yang part, um, you can you can extend the exhale. It doesn't have to be, um, you know, it doesn't have to be right out. You can let it go a little bit longer. You can focus on the exhale. Um, this is not the only movement in this where the breathing is not exactly even. It's not just a absolute inhale and exhale, same pace, even each one even with the other. I mean, things change in this practice. So that's one of the things is that in 3, that exhale that can slow a little and emphasize that exhale. Allow it to be complete and not forced. Anything for you?
I when I was doing 3 and 4, I was focused on the organs.
Mm-hmm. Good.
That just being aware of the liver and the spleen
Yeah.
and and that was nice. I kept it moving.
Mm-hmm.
And in 4, the kidneys and kind of massaging.
Yeah. That's great.
So that happened to be what I was doing today. Somewhere in 5 and 6, my brain started zipping off somewhere else.
To-do list came up.
Yeah, whatever it was, and just, luckily I'm not focusing on that. But so I had to pull
Yeah.
it back in,
Absolutely.
and so 5 I was just focusing on the energy going up and out of my head.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And 7 was more internally aware of the roiling of the energy. Down one side and up the other,
Good.
and somewhere along the thought popped in about them counting it. And I realized I count everything. I mean, if I'm breaking off grapes for John, I count them. Well, I need to count those, but you know, when I take stuff out of the laundry,
I'm the
I
same,
count it.
yeah.
I don't remember the number. I don't pay any
It
attention.
doesn't
to the number,
matter.
but I count it. So counting the repetitions is just kind of an automatic thing, which was useful.
That's good. Yeah. Good. Well, I agree. This was seemed to me a very productive flow. Everybody, the energy was really strong and powerful, and I liked the feeling that I had from your standing.
I was going to mention. Yeah, we didn't talk about that really, but
But that I think really makes a difference,
mm-hmm.
and also not closing and jumping up and moving away too.
Mm-hmm.
Really letting yourself feel what's happened, what's changed in my body as a result of doing this flow.
Uh-huh.
So good. That felt very productive today.
Mm-hmm.
Last minute thoughts or questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Actually, I'm glad we were doing movement today because my head feels like it's half asleep still. So it's, it's sitting to listen to you.
I can tell that because you kept yawning at the beginning when we were.
Well, that was because I was needing to cough or something and just
Get something moving.
how do I stop that without stopping and coughing all over the place? It went away.
Good.
See you guys
See you all
next week.
Yep.
Yeah. See you next week, hopefully.
Yep.
A couple of things I was going to mention after the boys left.
Okay.
One thing that I noticed for each of you to work on different things for all, somehow you have kind of lost a bit on 5.
Yeah, I have. You said. Or both.
Because when this is going down, this is going up,
Mm.
and I didn't see that going up happening.
Do that again so I can take a look again as to kind of. I mean, I can look in the.
Yeah, that's
we do
fine.
have it recorded,
No.
maybe.
Yeah, but there's the sense here that
Yep.
you're pulling the energy up the center,
Uh huh.
and then you're pushing the energy down
Yeah,
the side
okay,
channels.
yeah, yeah. I think part of that is just my caution with my back.
Oh,
But I don't want to unlearn it and then go, oh, I've forgotten it totally. So yes, yeah.
I thought your movement, considering what you're dealing with,
I was pretty
very
surprised at what I could do, to be honest. But I do
Yeah.
think slathering and ibuprofen.
well. I thought it was very. Actually, you did a good job of doing the movement, but not overdoing it. And the one thing that I still feel you could work on here and there is not coming up too fast because it leaves you stuck at the top. Even in the first posture, there was a sense of that's an exaggeration.
Yeah.
I'm doing an exaggeration.
Sometimes I feel like I'm doing it that way, though.
Um,
Ta-da! I got here! Yay!
There's a real tendency to do that, and it's very hard to stop yourself.
Yes, yeah. Because it does feel like, yeah.
So
there's-
that's focusing on how do I keep this movement constant no matter what else is going on with anything else. This movement is going to just continue and not ever be lost. And that's a difficult piece in everything. Our form too.
Yes.
Good old
Yeah.
form.
Well,
You do remember the form.
Well, I I did practice one day this week.
Well,
With the form, and it's just my back really started. It wasn't
Yeah.
the pain as much as exhaustion, but I think part of that is to keep from the pain. I'm readjusting my hips in a way, and so I didn't have to do that as much this time, or it's different
yeah.
in this than in the form.
Oh, yeah.
And so I found by the time I was not too far into the second paragraph, I was like, ooh. So I stopped.
Good.
um,
You know, the thing, because of my spinal stenosis, I have good days, and today, fortunately, is a good day. And I have days that are not. And so I have days when I don't even try to go all the way through the form. I'll do 1/3 of it. I'll do just the second paragraph or just the third, and not put that burden on myself that I have to force myself through
Right.
my pain into doing the whole thing, because that's eventually counterproductive.
right. Well, and I didn't. Yeah. I mean, I did a little this morning just to see how I was doing. I was like, I'm going to save myself a class.
Well, but I think that it's important for those of us with pain to recognize that we simply perhaps can't do that
Right.
anymore, or
Or at least not
at the
now.
moment.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm hoping this is getting. I mean, it is getting better.
Yeah,
That I can feel. So,
yeah.
but it's slow. A lot of heat on it this time.
Oh, yeah.
Heat.
Yeah,
So at night, I just kind of put it in the lounge chair, just kind of
Yeah.
sink into it, and that does help. Yeah.
I ice and heat every morning and evening.
Yeah.
Absolutely, it's part of what helps me keep going.
Yeah.
As long as also with the physical movements too, of course. But
Well, and I think part of it is to make sure you can, as much as possible, keep doing the physical movement, because then
Yeah.
you feel better.
Yeah.
He's not resting it all the time. I mean, I did a lot of walking on Sunday, and it's like, I feel okay. I was tired, but I was kind of like, oh yeah, my body feels like I really needed that. Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Anything in the form for you? Or?
Not really. I've been focusing on the second paragraph because that's kind of where we are,
Yeah.
and it's feeling pretty good.
Good.
I'm staying pretty present. That's kind of the perennial issue of
Mm-hmm.
of keeping my head where my body is.
Mm.
It's
Yeah.
almost as if when I'm doing gods or the form, it's the rest of the day I'm distracting myself all the time. So I'm not paying attention to the thoughts that go through. Well, I'm not distracting myself in the same way. And so that's when they pop in and say, "Oh, well, did you think about this?" And so maybe I better see if I can find a time to just listen to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I'm making the tapioca, not read a book while I'm stirring the damn stuff.
Do you do both?
Yeah. I hardly ever do one thing.
One thing at a time.
When I eat, I'm always doing a puzzle or reading or something, and I feel anxious if I don't.
Oh.
So it's, this thought about mindful eating.
Yeah.
No,
No.
I don't
Can't
want
do
to
it.
pay attention to each bite. Thank you. I don't necessarily want to pay attention to a bunch of bullshit going through my head. Or no, it's not bullshit always. It probably needs to be thought about.
I had actually was never really a student. She was someone I worked with who got very into some Buddhist principles around eating, and one of the ones that she and her husband at the time tried out for about a week, I think they actually did it, was chewing every bite 100 times
God, I've heard
before
50.
they swallowed.
I'd heard 50, but I hadn't heard 100.
They did 100.
Ooh. Yeah, yeah. And then he left her? What, when you said I'm out of here. I'm going to go find somebody who chews 10 times.
No, he he was the bad one in this pair. She was a great person.
I'm always amazed sometimes. I have a friend, and I don't know if he's somebody through War with Sisters League, and we read something like, wow, Bob really chews for a long time.
I should chew longer.
I should chew longer too sometimes. But that's where I think I have been trying, particularly recently, as we've been really kind of thinking, going back to really looking at yin and yang, because I've got this class, these two classes, and meditation, and just kind of going, what does one look like without doing too much? What does it look like without all of that other stuff happening at the same time? What does that look like? And it's both sides, right? It's like, how do you be present when you're really busy as well, right?
Yeah.
Like, and yeah.
And everything we're doing is a flow of yin and yang.
Yes.
So tuning into the flow rather than focusing on one aspect. Because when we get stuck on one side.
Well, that's it. I mean, in my life, it's pretty easy. Stuck in one side at this point, right?
Yep.
External factors, which is why it's more important for me to focus on it and not get totally. I used to leave. I still leave my week in the forest, kind of going. Most of what I did here, I can do somewhere else. It's not like I'm going to some resort and doing things that I don't have the capacity to do at home. I'm sitting on the dock. I'm spending more time doing Tai Chi and reading. I'm listening to the news, but sewing, kind of, you know, there's just
Yeah.
kind of, instead of listening to the news and trying to do something on the computer, you know. And so how do you move that 1 week versus 51 weeks into a bit more of a daily balance?
Yeah.
I mean, that's always my struggle, but I feel like, and it's why I chose to take meditation at a time when I was really overwhelmed with busyness. Kind of it's a discipline.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't, when people say, you need to take time for yourself, it's like, when I tell them I do Wednesday, Thursday, oh, really? People who don't know me are a little surprised.
Yeah, it makes a difference.
It does make a difference. And it's also then in my thinking, I'm also just thinking about the lessons, not just thinking about the world. Because that's too much.
Yeah. You have to let that go now and then.
I can't hold on to. We make ourselves crazy doing that.
Oh yeah.
Nobody wants to be nobody wants to be crazy or attracted to working with crazy people.
Yeah. You don't sleep. I said you don't sleep. That was my problem a few weeks ago with all of this. I've gradually learned to let go of it and sleep.
And let go of it, yeah.
So
Well, that part of the balance is also understanding what you can do to make a difference and what you can't do.
yeah. Exactly.
Like, yes, there are certain things I can do and certain things that, there are things out there, and we do the best we can, but we can't but don't overdo it. I have Master Joe's stay in a few different places in my house. Both up in my kind of Tai Chi room, but on the wall in front of my computer to remind me.
Well, ladies.
Well, thank you, David. Thank you. Yeah, great. And have you been able to figure out your recording problem or not?
No.
You know, I was thinking recently I need to get a tech in the house.
I think I have to get Ben. My tech is named Ben. I have to get him to tell me what to do. I don't know.
And it could be simple. We just don't always know what. I mean,
I
it took me, hours to get my phone back going. You know,
But that's not simple.
that wasn't no. And if I hadn't let the battery of the original one go, it would have been. But because of that, it added hours and security clearances and you have to wait a week. And what do you mean you don't have another iPhone in your house? Why don't you have 7 devices?
right. Right. Don't you have unlimited funds?
Yeah, really, unlimited funds. Or that to me is another distraction. I mean, I don't have.
Yeah.
I do Facebook, but I don't have it on my phone. I'm very intentional about not putting certain things in my hands that often. Because you need a little discipline. Feels good too, I think. I mean, to me, I really like that feeling of, that.
I have gotten to hate Google. That's where
You're allowed.
That's where I am at the moment.
Well, and our options are so few when it comes to technology. We're kind of they're all big companies for the most part. Although I do a lot of open source stuff. But other people all want to do Google Workplace and I'm stuck in systems because of jobs or organizations. And they just.
Yeah. No, that's my problem is the overlap here of Google and YouTube.
Oh.
And I just haven't been able to. I haven't been able to look it through.
So that's the problem with the video. Is that.
All of a sudden, and I think this is a new arrangement, Google took over handling YouTube's login.
Oh, okay.
and I had an issue when they took over the first time that because I had a link to the YouTube Studio page, my YouTube
Your
Studio,
YouTube, yeah, right.
and I just clicked on my link and
Yeah.
and I went right in.
Put it
And
right in.
all of a sudden, Google said, no.
Why
Before
did
you
your
can
Google
go,
account and then do this?
before you can do that, you have to sign in here. And the blockage, the first blockage anyway, was that my sign-in was fine until they said, you have to enter an email
Mm-hmm.
address for recovery. Well, I only have one email, so I entered my email, and Google said, no, you can't use the same email
Right.
address for both. And cut it.
And cut it.
And I haven't been able to change it.
You have only one email, you said.
Yeah,
Oh, Google wants you to have a Gmail account.
Right.
exactly. I think that's it.
I think that's it. Yeah. A lot of things have, I don't know whether it's the change of the year or whatever, but for example, I was on a call last week where the person hadn't asked any of the organizations involved for a Zoom link, so they only did the 40-minute free one, which is great, but usually it expires, you get right back on. They now have a 10-minute delay, and none of us knew that. And so you're off, and then suddenly you can't get back on. I persisted for 10 minutes and got back on, but only half the group got back on. And it's because everybody's like, well, this is how it works. This is how it always has worked. And I'm sure that because they want people to
Yeah.
pay. And I don't pay, but we have a collective organization of Zoom that's shared by a lot of groups. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so they get you. That's their job. Their job is to make money.
Yeah.
They gotta get you to get it.
Apparently.
Yeah, it's like like why don't you have if you had an iPad, this would be easy. They couldn't send me an email the way they wanted to anything, and they never ask questions. It used to be like, "What's your mother's maiden name?" or something, right? Like, can't I prove who I am some other way?
Yeah,
Took
they
7
want you
days of silence from them and no phone, no cell phone.
Yeah, everything wants to send you a text to your phone to put in.
Yeah.
the code.
Everything, but if you don't have that phone and there's no, so I gave Rick's cell phone as the backup phone, but they wouldn't call it for a week. I'm sure in the meantime some of the people would go out and buy an iPad or something, but nope. Luckily it was over most of most of this is around vacation time, so I was able to be stubborn without really sacrificing too much of my work ability. And I have a computer, so I have the laptop. But it's terrible.
Yeah.
And then how do you work around it? I mean, Karina was on the phone with me for an hour and a half to get to finally get back after the 7 days. And I couldn't have figured it all out myself. I don't think I'm stupid. I technology kind of. But an hour and a half, we finally get it. Got it.
Well, you got to spend an hour and a half with Karina.
I did, and we got it after like 20 minutes on the phone. She's like, "I'm calling you on Zoom." She said, so she walked next door to her office and got Zoom, and that way we could at least kind of say, "Show me what your screen looks like," so I could hold the phone up.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh, that's good.
that helped. That did help, but well, hopefully Ben can help. So, but persevere with memory and notes. All right,
Well,
off to today.
onward and upward.
Onward and upward. Back to reality. Hope it's not as bad as last Wednesday's
What?
reality.
It's a nail. I don't think you want a nail in the middle of your floor.
No, thank you. Some cat found that somewhere.
Undoubtedly.
Doesn't look like it.
I find little screws, and I'm like, what are they falling out of? Someday we'll never think this guy. Okay.
Well, Hang in there, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll try. We'll try. This is helping. This is helping.
Oh, good.
No, it does. I mean, I would be.
I didn't do what I was really planning to do.
Did we do
today at
any?
all.
Did you redo any reading?
What?
Did you read any of your notes? I don't think you did. Did you?
No, I had them ready. I was going to take you into something really confusing.
Ooh, good. I look forward to that next week.
I'm so glad you didn't do that today.